everyone, I'm Lacey, and I chose to do my presentation on Seamnus Heaney. Seamnus Heaney is an Irish poet, and he is the reason why we have a modern day werewolf. So, thanks, Seamus. Seamus Heaney showed readers that poetry does not have to come from general abstract ideas or dramatic events. Instead, he proved that poetry can grow out of everyday life, out of work, out of family, out of friends, um, out of memory. And by focusing on ordinary experiences and connecting them to larger themes of history and identity, he created poetry that feels both personal and universal. Throughout his life, his deep connection to Ireland, and his lasting legacy, Heaney shaped modern poetry that still resonates with readers today. Seamus Heaney was born in 1839 in County Derry, Northern Ireland, into a Catholic farming family. He grew up on a small farm, and his early life revolved around physical labor and rural routines. He watched his father work the land, digging potatoes and caring for animals, and he learned to understand the rhythms of nature from a young age. These experiences stayed with him not just as memories, but as a way of seeing the world. Unlike many writers who distance themselves from their backgrounds, Heaney embraced his upbringing and turned it into the foundation of his poetry. The farm's physical world played a major role in shaping Heaney's imagination. He paid close attention to textures, sounds, and movements, such as the feel of soil, the sound of a spade cutting into the ground, or the quiet stillness of the countryside. Because of this, his poetry often feels grounded and real. Readers can almost see and hear what he describes. This attention to detail allowed Heaney to transform simple moments into meaningful reflections on life. His work shows how ordinary actions like digging or walking through a field can carry deeper significance. While attending Queen's University, Belfast, Heaney began to develop his identity as a writer. At the university, he encountered new ideas, literature, and perspectives that helped him refine his voice. This period marked a shift from simply experiencing the world to actively interpreting it through writing. He began to see poetry as a way to connect his personal experiences with broader cultural and historical themes. Heaney gained recognition with his first major collection, Death of a Naturalist. In this collection, he explores childhood memories and the natural world with vivid imagery and emotional depth. One of the most important poems in the collection is Digging, which serves almost as a statement of purpose for his career. In the poem, Heaney describes watching his father and grandfather dig into the earth with skill and strength. He then reflects on his own role as a writer, holding a pen instead of a shovel. The famous opening lines, "Between my finger and my thumb, the squat pen rests, snug as a gun," immediately draw attention to the power of writing. By comparing the pen to a gun, Heaney suggests that word can have force and impact. However, instead of using the power for violence, he chooses to use it to explore memory and identity. As the poem continues, he acknowledges the hard work of his ancestors while also recognizing that his own path is different. He does not reject his roots, instead, he honors them in a new way. Through writing, he continues the tradition of digging, but in a symbolic sense. As Heaney's career developed, the political situation in Northern Ireland became increasingly tense. The period known as the Troubles brought violence, division, and uncertainty to everyday life. This conflict involved deep-rooted issues related to religion, national identity, and political control. For many people, it created an atmosphere of fear and instability. As a writer living through this time, Heaney faced the challenge of responding meaningfully to these events. Rather than taking a simple or extreme political stance, Heaney approached the conflict with thoughtfulness and complexity. People could not reduce the situation to clear-cut answers. Instead of arguing for one side or the other, he used poetry to explore the emotional and historical layers of the conflict. This approach allowed him to address difficult topics without oversimplifying them. In his collection, North, Heaney connects the violence of his own time to ancient history. One of the key images in this collection is the bog bodies. Preserved humans' remains found in peat bogs of northern Europe. These bodies often show signs of violent death, suggesting that they may have been victims of ritual sacrifice or punishment. Heaney uses these images to draw parallels between the past and the present. By writing about the bog bodies, Heaney suggests that violence is not just a modern problem, but something that existed throughout history. The preserved bodies serve as a reminder that human societies have long struggled with conflict and division. And at the same time, the bog itself acts as a memory, holding on to the past and preserving it for the future. Through this imagery, Heaney encourages readers to think about how history continues to shape the present. Heaney's approach to poetry during this time reflects his belief in the importance of balance and reflection. He did not try to provide easy solutions or take extreme positions. Instead, he created space for readers to think deeply about complex issues. His work invites reflection rather than forcing conclusions, which is one reason it continues to feel relevant. In 1995, Heaney received the Nobel Prize in Literature, one of the highest honors a writer can achieve. The award recognized not only in his technical skill, but also the depth and significance of his work. The Nobel Committee praised the lyrical beauty and ethical depth of this poetry, highlighting his ability to combine artistic expression with thoughtful exploration of human experience. This recognition placed Heaney among the most important writers of his time. Beyond his own writing, Heaney contributed to the literary world as a teacher and a translator. He taught at Harvard University and the University of Oxford, where he influenced a new generation of writers and thinkers. As a teacher, he encouraged students to value their own voices and experiences, much like he had done in his own work. Heaney also translated Beowulf, bringing an important piece of early English literature to modern audiences. His translation stands out for maintaining the original strength and rhythm while making it accessible to contemporary readers. This work reflects his ability to bridge the gap between the past and the present, connecting different time periods through language. When Heaney passed away in 2013, many people recognized the loss not only of a poet, but also of a thoughtful and influential public voice. However, his work continues to live on. His poems remain widely read in schools and universities, and they continue to resonate with new generations of readers. One reason for this lasting impact is the universality of his themes. While his work is deeply rooted in Irish history and culture, it also speaks the experiences shared by many people, such as family relationships, personal identity, and the search for meaning. Heaney's legacy also lies in how he changed the way people think about poetry. He showed that poetry can stay connected to everyday life. Instead, it can grow directly out of ordinary experiences and still address complex and important ideas. By focusing on the familiar, he made poetry more accessible without losing its depth. In the end, Seamus Heaney's life and work demonstrate the power of staying connected to one's roots while engaging with the wider world. He transformed simple experiences into meaningful reflections and used poetry to understand both personal and historical realities. His work continues to remind readers that even the most ordinary moments can carry extraordinary meaning. Through his writing, Heaney created a lasting legacy that continues to shape literature and inspire readers to